All right. Good evening, everybody. This is your girl, Nique Langston, better known as Nique Speaks. Welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations. I am super excited because we are soft launching our conference. We are doing a sneak peek of what's going to be going down. And tonight, I have the honor of showing you guys who is going to be in the building in Detroit, Michigan in 2023. I am again excited to be here tonight. I'm a little tired. Okay, had a long week. We all have. And I just thank God that everyone is pressing through and still being an asset to the people at large. And so I am excited again to have you all. You guys, thank you so much for coming on. I know that everyone had a lot going on just today alone, and for just to come on and to be an asset to the people, it speaks volumes. And I am grateful to have you guys be a part of the conference. So, without further ado, I want to go ahead and go around the table tonight and everyone introduce themselves. Go ahead, Brittany.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm so excited to be here with you all and with all of my other esteemed panelists. I am Brittany Broaddus-Smith, founder of the Intimacy Firm and creator of the My Bolder Than Me web series. I am a Christian sexologist and intimacy coach. International Christian sexologist and intimacy coach. God has been enlarging territories around here, and we thank Him for it. And I'm just really excited to dig into these conversations that we really need to have and really work to improve the lives of believers and regular, everyday people alike.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Go ahead, DeAnne.
Hi, everybody. I'm DeAnne McGowan. I'm a clinical social worker. Currently, I am a VA employee by day, and I am a clinician or talk therapist by night. Shout out to Transition Family Services. That is the private practice that I practice out of. And I am just really happy to be here. It's always a pleasure to be chatting it up with Nique, and I'm really excited for tonight and the conference.
All right. Hi, everyone.
Yes, and let's go, Mina.
All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Antonina Ashford. I am a healing lifestyle coach. What I do is work with people. I meet them where they are at and help them along their healing journey in any way possible, whether it's mental, physical, and spiritual. And that's my job. And I'm happy to be here today.
All right, go ahead, Loren.
Oh, I think it's muted.
Oh, there we go. Yes, I'm Loren Bryant, computer engineer, owner of the Date Night app. I'm excited to be here. I've been excited for this convo for a minute now. So definitely a good talk the last time I was on live. So I'm looking forward to this one.
All right, and last but not least, my co-host for the evening. Go ahead, take it away.
What's up, everybody? Listen, I'm so grateful that you guys are tuned in with us tonight. I am the co-host alongside my sister here and these wonderful esteemed panelists. I am Duane Williams Jr. There's a lot that I do, but we'll get into that another time. I want y'all to do me a favor tonight. If you are watching via YouTube or via Facebook, I want you to share it. How do you share via Facebook? I'm glad you asked. Go down to the bottom, hit the share button, and invite all your friends and family into the space. I know that I've just shared. I'm quite sure that the panel is already sharing as well. And so we are underway. If you're watching on YouTube, I want you to do me a favor and please don't let the Baltimore accent fool you. It's in there. It's coming out tonight. I hear it myself. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor and just go to the YouTube page, and you can just copy the link and send it out to all of your friends and family and tell them to jump in. I'm telling you, I think this is going to be an amazing conversation. I'm already seeing the numbers go up. on YouTube and Facebook as we speak, because I think this is going to be an intelligent but real but honest but transparent conversation. And so we get ready to get underway. Back to the host of the hour.
All right. Thank you so much, Duane. So before we get started, I do have an icebreaker that I want us to get right into. And I'm going to go ahead and share that on the screen now. So you guys feel free to join in. No, we cannot see your faces, but we want you to type, comment in the comment section. We want to see what everyone says. We're talking about never have I ever, and at this time I'm gonna have Duane go ahead and co-host this part of the segment. So I'm gonna go ahead and click the slides. But before I do that, let me do some housekeeping rules.
That's right. Give them the housekeeping rules. That's what we like. Let's go.
All right. So I want everyone to be respectful of our panelists, and of course, no foul language. We want to be respectful again of the Lord, and also the people who are presenting on tonight. And of course, if there's anything that's out of order, we will be happy to remove you.
Address you. We will address you. We will address you.
All right. God bless, and we'll just block you.
We will address you. We will address you. It's not a problem.
No, because we really care about what we do, and we love helping people. We want to make sure that everyone is respected, and we do things in decency and in order. All right, so we're gonna move on.
All right, we're stepping into it. Yep, let's get it. So this is a game called Never Have I Ever. All right, and so we're gonna play this with our panelists. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna raise your hand if you have. You're gonna raise your hand if you have not. And what will happen is I will probably come to maybe one or two of you on the opposite side of each spectrum and ask you to explain kind of why you have, if you feel comfortable, or why you have not. If you're in the chat with us tonight and you feel like being bold in this space, please don't hesitate to be like, yeah, that was me, or nah, I ain't never done that. I ain't never did it. All right, let's get it underway. Never have I ever dined and dashed. Never have I ever dined and dashed. Panel, have you ever dined and dashed? No? Brittany's a no. That's because Brittany's a millionaire, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all write her name down. D, no, that's a no for you. You never dined and dash. Everybody's a no. Wow. Anybody in the comments want to tell the truth tonight?
Wait, DeAnne, you have DeAnne? DeAnne?
I have.
Oh, we got one. Oh my. D, talk to us. What was going through your mind when you dined and dashed? What happened?
Well, I just so happened to be a teenager. Okay?
Yeah.
And when Fridays used to be popping,
and
we had a little bit too much fun.
Fridays definitely used to be popping. I want to throw that out there for the record. I know the Saints has got sophisticated and we just spend our money at black-owned places, but Fridays used to be popping. I want that to be known for the record. Yeah.
It used to be popping about 20 years ago. So, yes, I was a teenager. We had a little bit too much fun and ordered too much and could not afford the entire bill.
I ain't mad at you. You was a teenager. Did you ask the Lord for forgiveness?
I did. I felt bad.
Even if you didn't, I don't think he's just going to take a stone off of your crown. That's it. You won't have an extra diamond in your crown. Oh, everyone said no. I'm actually gonna join in and say no. Nique, what you gonna say? Are you saying no or yes?
It's a no.
Yeah, I was scared of Sister Mona. That's my mama. She would beat the living crap out of me. But that's another topic for another day. Y'all ready for the next one? Let's go. Oh, look, we got a comment. Somebody said yes in the YouTube comments. They said yes. I dined and dashed. It was me. All right, here we go. Never have I ever had sex on a first date. Mighty Christ. I mean, who gonna tell the truth tonight? Who is going to tell the truth?
Went back.
Who is going to tell the truth tonight? If y'all scared, say you scared. Say you scared if you scared. If you scared. Anybody want to start it? Oh, okay. That's a yes. Is that a yes, Britt? Or that's a no?
No, that wasn't no yes. I was scratching my ear.
Oh. I thought it was, I thought you would at the bidding auction, they be like, put about 55, 55, 85. I thought, okay. So that's a no for you, Britt. Is that a big fat no?
A big fat no.
Okay, Britt, that's a no. D, what you got? You got a yes? Oh, I love your honesty tonight.
We being honest today. Yes.
We being honest. I can't see. Oh, is it Antonina? Is that how you said it?
It's Antonina. You can just
Antonina.
say
I say Nina. All right. What you got, Nina? That's a yes or no?
no.
Woo. Brohan, what you got?
Nope.
Wow, man, y'all all say for real. We got the comments saying no. Nique, you want to answer first before I answer?
No.
No. My God. Pray for me, everybody. D, that's a yes. I did pray. I asked the Lord to forgive me, so don't judge me. All right, next one. Let's get out of this before we get stuck there. Let's get out of this.
All
right. Never have I ever had a friend with benefits. Never have I ever had a friend with benefits. This is getting hot and heavy already. Oh, look at that. When the hands go up, the truth comes out. Look at this. All right, Loren, come on, man. Talk to me. I saw your hand go up. Is that a yes?
Yes, definitely a yes.
Okay. I respect that, man. Now, I saw your hand go up, Nat. What you got? Yep.
You said Net or Nina?
Nina, I'm going to get this right tonight.
Giving her a new name.
Yes, I gave her a new nickname. I'm
right,
so sorry. Nina.
I would say it was an ex, and we became friends. You got that stronghold, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That comeback, so stuff like that.
Okay, I got you. Okay, Nina. Okay, Nina, I got you. I appreciate that. Appreciate the honesty, because this is all going to go somewhere tonight anyway. So what we'll be honest about now, our topic will help us unpack it all. D, what you got?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Nique?
Yes.
Wow. Britt?
Yep.
Well, it seems to be that I'm the only sanctified one in this question tonight. I'm going to have to give that a big fat yes. All right, let's move on. Got y'all with the alley. I got y'all with the alley. So that's a yes for us all. All right, we're going to go to the next one. Never have I ever received a lap dance. That's a big fat. I'm going to tell you right now, that's a negative for me. Never happened. Britt said that's a negative for her. D. Oh, D. Oh, D. Look, let me where's my olive oil?
I don't think I've ever received one.
Oh, then if you've never received one, just stay there. Don't even stretch the question. Yeah, don't even stretch it. Just stay right there. That's a no?
No.
Okay, no. Nina, tell me, have you seen her?
Yes, I have.
Oh, Nina, I thought you was gonna really say no right there. I'm not judging you though. All right, my brother, what you got, man?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, I can't catch up now, but it's a no, so I guess I can't go back. All right, never have I ever.
For the record, I have received.
I did not ask you. I'm so sorry.
You
have had a lap dance.
Yes.
Wow. All right. That's a shocker for you. I didn't see that coming.
A lot of people say that. That's the last question.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Okay. I
Get
like
into
it. I like it. Let's go.
All right. So, did y'all enjoy that?
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay, I see her laughing in the chat. Oh, you had a lap dance too, Sierra? Okay.
Yeah. Listen, I'm looking in the chat. Most folks want to answer, but they're not gonna answer tonight. They gonna keep it real humble.
Yeah, they want to see what the speakers are about.
Yeah.
All right. So the whole purpose of this conversation tonight is to help individuals to become more conscious about who they are sharing their intimate spaces with. And a big thing that's happening with a lot of people, I want people to heal from sexual trauma. That is a big thing that's not being talked about, but I want you to consider being healed from your sexual traumas so that you can have better intimate relationships with the person you're supposed to be with. And I have the experts here tonight to help us unpack that. So I just wanted to touch base with you guys before we get started. Why we're having this conversation? Why is this important right now? Because there's a lot of people sexing and they're sexing wrong. That's just the honest to God truth. And we're not here to be Bible thumpers at anybody. Every relationship, I would tell you right now, the foundation of relationship starts with the word of God. I don't care what anyone says. Okay. Everything we do points back to the Lord. All right. So I want to talk about, go give you guys the definition of sex and the definition of intimacy before we move forward, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. But I'm telling you right now, anything you get fast is probably wrong. Everything we receive tonight, we've done research. Okay. We are studying to show thyself approved before we even come on our platforms to educate the people. It's very important that you take your time and get to know yourself by listening to the wisdom from other people. Because people out here are just having podcasts and they're just talking, but they're not walking the walk. And I would never have anyone on my platform who is not walking what they're talking about. All right. So sex, going to that definition, sexual activity, including specific sexual intercourse. Sex is sexual activity, including specifically sexual intercourse. Hold on one second. My team is in the waiting room. Hold on one second. There go my admin. Hey, Vanessa.
Good evening, everyone.
All right, where's Lewis?
Okay, I gotta talk with you off camera about that. He had a situation at work, so yeah,
okay. Okay, no problem. All right, so I'm going to read the definition real quick. The next one is intimacy, close familiarity of friendship and closeness. Again, intimacy is close familiarity or friendship. So intimacy and sex have two different meanings. And I know Brittany's going to break it down for us tonight. Now, there's so much scripture that talks about sex and sex being a sin. Okay, we all have fallen short of the glory of God. Okay. So this scripture, I believe, is perfect because of temptation to sexual immorality. Each man should have his own wife and each woman her own husband. 1 Corinthians 7:2. Now, here's my thing. We're going to open up this conversation with this. Sex is a good thing because if it wasn't something that God didn't want us to do, he wouldn't create it. However, the fact that the act itself has been tainted for generations and is now glorified in a perverse manner. Sex has become glorified in a very perverse manner. Does anyone want to add on to that before we go into the first topic?
No, I just want to make just one correction because I heard you say it. Now, just to help her out, sex is not the sin. Sexual immorality is the sin, right? Mm-hmm. Just because I knew what you were saying. You were moving so fast, but we just want to make sure we say that correctly because I don't want nobody walking out of here talking about sex is sin. And then, they go home to their husband and wife and be like, I can't do this no more because it's sin. I hope we're mature enough to know that. But for the sake of recording and for the sake of information and for the sake of being in proper context, it is only a sin when done outside of the confines, and we'll get into those confines in this conversation. But just wanted to just throw that avenue in there for the sake of our conversation tonight.
Thank you, Pastor Duane.
Listen, we good.
I want you to correct me.
No. You did good. No, you did good. Great definitions too. Great definitions.
Okay. Anyone want to add into that? Add to what I've mentioned about sex being glorified in a perverse manner.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking, so when we, discuss how, it's been, glorified in a perverse manner, I have to think of the, like it going from one, the pendulum swinging from one extreme to the next. And I think that there's been so much shame placed on sex. And the discussion about sex has been very little, so there's not much education on it to where people can develop a healthy relationship with sex and understanding what sex even is and what it really means. So I don't see how it couldn't swing to the other extreme in being glorified in some way.
Yeah, I agree with DeAnne 100%, and just understanding when we think about perversion and that term, the most perverse thing about sex is that the enemy has convinced us that it belongs to him. And so everything else that we deal with is the fruit of that rotten seed. And that seed from the fallen, from the moment that, from the original sin, because we live in a fallen world, and where the enemy started even back in the garden with confusion, that's what we have now. We have folks who are confused. That creates infighting. That, everybody, we have this idolatrous pursuit of I'm right, you're wrong. And thus we are on, believers on either side, grab your torch and pitchforks to try to push whatever agenda that they have. And we are running further and further away, or moving further and further away from the original intent of the gift of sex to be held and experienced within, as Duane said, we'll talk about the confines later, but in this original design, in this original expression, as when God gave Adam and Eve their first commandment as husband and wife was be fruitful and multiply. And there's only one way to multiply. I mean, now, with technological advances, there are other ways, but the core of it is, the fruit of our human bodies. It's the confusion and the reality of it, that it's a thing that God gave his children. And because we believe it's the devil, every time we say it's dirty, every time we say it's evil, every time we say it's of the enemy, that's really the worst perversion of all the things that we have today.
We talking hot and heavy already. I love it. I think I love, and I'm gonna bring this up, this topic up, but before I do, I just want to piggyback on that. This is what is so funny about feelings. First, I think we got to start there. We've made the advancement of feelings more important than we've made the reality of actualities important. So in other words, I can feel a certain way, but I don't necessarily have to address the actual thing because my feelings kind of have taken precedence over what it really is, right? And so the reason why I say that is because when you really look at that word perversion, it's really driven by feeling. It's not driven by, dang, a moral compass, right? It's driven by a feeling because I feel, or this is the way it makes me feel, or this is the way I feel. It really drives us into a place of love, right, for ourselves. So which leads me into this question right here. A recent study in 2020, which was 2 years ago, they did this study, and it said half of U.S., not overseas, but half of U.S. Christians say that casual sex between consenting adults is sometimes and always acceptable. Do we agree or do we disagree? And then explain why you agree or you disagree.
So acceptable is kind of subjective, right? As far as like when we're talking about sex as a sexologist, sex between consenting adults, sure, it's acceptable. As a Christian, then as far as acceptability, as far as whether it is anything that God would have us to do, then I would say no. But then as a coach, I would caution against it because I don't personally believe that casual sex is anything that anybody actually wants. I think it's something that people do. As you spoke about, Duane, about feelings. I think that we are pulled away by momentary voids, and casual sex is a pursuit to fill voids. But in long term, people want to be loved. People want intimacy. People want accountability with the partners that they're with. In extreme cases like this commitment to casual sex, whole phase, hot girl summer, sneaky links, all of those things are trauma responses.
Oh, Jesus. No, keep going, Britt. Keep going. I would keep going.
Yeah, so because it's not. I do this work personally, even amongst friends. I see like we'll do it, and I'll speak from a women's perspective. For so long, women have had to just sit back and let men do whatever they do. Boys will be boys, the boys club, like what's understood don't need to be explained. He comes home to me. All that, like you may have had him once, but I got him all the time. All that nonsense that we have heard, right? And now in this day and age with, post-sexual revolution, women are trying to reclaim what they lost during those seasons when they're trying to push back against being a ride or die and all of those, the struggle love and all of that. So they've decided, because I can't get what I want, I'll put on this facade of I'm a savage. But in reality, you go home aching because that's less than what you really want, right? You've lost your stamina to hold on for what's possible, so you're just connected to what's available. And what's available in today's world is bargain basement. It is casual sex can never hold a candle to covenantal lovemaking. So
I want to piggyback off of that and kind of ask a follow-up question, but I want to go to Loren really quickly. Talk to me, bro. Like, we're the only two men on here amongst all of the queens tonight. This study is showing, and notice here, it did not say U.S. male Christians or U.S. Women Christian. It said U.S. Christians, which is a collaboration of both men and women. Say that casual sex between consenting adults is sometimes and always acceptable. As a man, like as a Christian man, as a man, do you agree? Do you disagree that it's acceptable? It's not acceptable? Explain. Talk to us.
I will just preface my statements that I make tonight by saying, first off, what God says is correct as far as his guidelines for sex and stuff like that. Let's just be honest. But I will say that we don't talk about how sometimes the after effects of who you choose to have sex with is also an issue too. How that can break apart friendships, how it can break apart relationships with them, how you can get intertwined with people and you might get your feelings caught up and they don't, or vice versa. And now you're hurting somebody. And then it's the after effects of getting diseases, things of that nature. Like we don't talk about that. We just say no, 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 and that's it. So I don't think it's always acceptable. I think, like I told Nique earlier when we had this private conversation, but I told her, just speaking from a man's perspective, a lot of dudes need discipline, meaning that.
Whoa! Hold on, I gotta put this in a hashtag. This is good. Say it again.
That up, but
Say it again. Say it again.
Shout out to Sergeant Willie Pete for that one, but dudes need discipline.
Mm.
And every situation is not worth it, you know. So from that sense, yes, I mean, everything is not acceptable. So I don't think every situation is acceptable at all.
Wow. Come on, Nina. Come on, I see you.
I think like with casual sex, like whether it's religion or spiritual, whatever it is, it's consequences that comes behind it. But people have their own perspective of things, of what's right and wrong, regardless of if you religion or just spiritual. Like if you come from like a spiritual aspect of things, you're the moment that your body is sacred. You know, your body is the temple, your body is the church. You have God within you. So the moment you lay down with a person, they traumas and your traumas can collide. So you like sharing spirits, and then that's where that stronghold comes. So at the end of the day, it's really up to the person. Like some people, they feel like they have to go through that whole phase to get rid of that urge. But if you ask me if it's a need, no, it's not a need. Other words, how you can release those traumas, because that's all it is. That void is just a trauma within them. So there's other ways to release that trauma, release that urge, release that temptation, because all that is build up emotions within you. So once you learn how to release those things out of your body, then you can be like, okay, now when I am deciding to share my body, because that's what you're doing, you're sharing your palace, you letting somebody have the key to your palace to come inside you.
Mm.
It's like the moment you make that decision, at least you can make a conscious decision of it, whether regardless of the background, whether it's you being with somebody like, dang, my spirit telling me I'm safe with this person right here, this is something serious. Or you can be like, okay, I'd rather wait to marriage with this person. It all depends on the people.
I love what I'm hearing so far, because we ask yes or no and explain, and I'm loving the fact that the majority of our panelists tonight that you heard from are saying, hey, no, it's it's not acceptable to kind of walk into this casual acceptance of casual sex, right? So they're disagreeing, and they're giving intelligent responses for why they disagree, right? And I'm gonna be honest, oftentimes as believers, and I gotta agree with you, Loren, we usually just say, hey, no, that's it, right? And it is refreshing to hear the intellect of individuals explain this, because here's the thing: even if you're not a Christian and maybe you don't subscribe to what we believe, this will at least give you something to think about. It will at least give you something to ponder on, to say, okay, let me, see what they're saying. And so I love that. Anybody else want to jump into that before we move? Anybody else want to jump into that, agree or disagree on casual sex?
If I could just jump in and
come
make
on, Vanessa. Come
Yeah.
on. Welcome, Vanessa. Welcome.
One of the things my husband always says, when a person does not know the purpose of the thing, they tend to abuse it. And I think a lot of people go into sex.
Don't run through that. Don't run through that.
Purpose,
Don't run through that.
and
Say
so
that
they
again.
abuse it.
Say that again. Don't run through that. Rewind.
Okay.
Rewind.
I said, when a person does not know the purpose of a thing, they tend to abuse it. And I think a lot of times in sex, people come in not knowing the purpose. Females or males, don't know the purpose and the what's the word I want to use? The what God has created is so sacred, they end up abusing, what God has put in you as a male or a female as a gift, to be shared with a mate, husband, wife.
Wow. Come on, Nina.
I really agree with Vanessa, because it all goes back to you having a lack of understanding of who you are. Like, how do you know what you've given up if you don't know your worth? If you don't even know the history or the dialogue or what you like and what you don't like. So therefore, you just walking around unconsciously just giving your body to whoever like it's nothing without appreciating it.
Nina, can I ask a question there? And I got a follow-up for Brittany as well. Nina, when you talk about the likes and dislikes, because some people, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, some people would say, no, I know what I like. And are we shallow in what we like because we're talking about pleasure? Or when you talk about what we like, is there a depth to what we should understand about what we like?
I believe if you don't know yourself, how do you know what you like and what you don't like? Therefore, if you have confusion within yourself, you bringing that confusion onto another individual. Because you choose not to just spend some time with yourself, find out what you like and what you don't like. I'm not saying you have to wait to marriage or nothing like that. But what I'm saying is take a minute to be still, to understand what you like and what you don't like, so you won't hurt another person. Because a lot of times you can bring that confusion into a relationship with a person that might know themselves and they might be sure. And the fact that you don't, by you being in the process, being with that person, you might end up hurting them because you realize, dang, I don't like this. Or you might, the person might get lucky. You might be like, dang, I do like this. But how do you know? It's like instead of dealing with that consequences or making somebody suffer because you didn't take responsibility to work on you, why not take the time, work on you, and then date around, get to know people. And then,
Don't say that too loud. Don't say that. There's some folks that would be mad at you saying date around, because some people want exclusive, like quickly tomorrow.
At the end of the day, it's self-control.
Yeah.
I can say whatever I want.
Yeah.
In the day, it's all about you having self-control. You can say date around. You can be a kid in the mind and at the spirit and just be playing around like a kid. But you know what I mean if I'm talking to a grown man and a grown woman. So date around, get to know people, enjoy yourself by having some self-discipline as well. You know what I'm saying? Just have some self-discipline and some respect and self-love. That's it.
I just want to jump in real quick. Brittany ready. She ready. This is why we're having the conference in 2023, y'all.
Yeah.
This right here. Because there's so much information that I'm sure tonight so far you have not thought about. All right, go ahead, Brittany.
So I think we have to take a step back from when we had a conversation about knowing ourselves or getting to know ourselves to learn what we like and all of that. That's almost like at this day and age, is almost putting the cart before the horse. We got to start with, particularly for us as Black people, we have to start even give ourselves permission to like, permission to feel good, permission to have options, right? We are so conditioned to move to avoid pain. We don't understand what the pursuit of pleasure looks like. And to Duane's question about the depth of it, sex is just a byproduct of it. If we peel it back for the ones who are yet holding on to God's unchanging hand, penis has been as far from them as the East is from the West. A waitress comes to your table and brings you food that you didn't order, or bring your steak undercooked or overcooked. You don't want to ruffle nobody's feathers, so you just take it. You don't say anything. If you are at the nail salon and you get a pedicure and the water's too hot or not hot enough, you don't say anything. Now you'll say something if it's getting ready to burn you. You'll say something if there's hair in your food, something that has an immediate external consequence. But if it's something that you can bear, then you'll just take. And so we avoid pain, but we don't pursue pleasure. And we don't even have the language to say yes or more. We can say no and stop. But we can't say yes, please. We can't. And after that, we don't have the I said this earlier about the stamina to hold on for what's possible. We are so desperate, and that's the ugly word, desperate and thirsty, and understandably so, because again, we live in a fallen world, to be loved, to be seen, to be cared for, to be protected, that we will take whatever as close to the noise in my background. We will take as close as we can get. And as long as it even slightly resembles what we're looking for, we'll take it. So we need to even have the permission. And this starts as a young child. When we make our kids sit at the table and finish their plate, even if they're full, right?
Wow.
We're telling them, don't listen to your body. Don't keep, because it's there, you have to take it. That's where take what's in front of you, take what's given to you, is seeded from that moment. When we say you can't close the door, not in my house, and all those things that we've learned, we are telling them that avoiding pain is the only way to live life and not to pursue pleasure. So before we get to learning what you like, you have to have permission that it is okay. It is okay for you to not want what's popular. It is okay for you to not want what's offered to you, even if that person loves you. Even if that is if everybody on the block says that this person is the finest thing since sliced bread, and you just like, yeah, it's not for me. That is okay, and that being alone and happy is better than being partnered and miserable. Regardless of what social, there's no hashtag, no amount of flowers, no viral video, no TikTok soundtrack that will cover the pain of you being with somebody or being in a situation that does not serve you.
All right.
That's the sound of a bomb. Hey, Britt, hold on, Britt. Come back, because you said something good. Nique, come off of mute, too, because you're about to ask the next question. Go, move on to our next topic. Britt, go back. I'm seeing the comments over here on YouTube. First of all, great explanation. Just great. I love something that you just said. When you talk about being okay with being alone. I'm under the impression that most people really don't like being alone. Over I'm gonna say this, over probably like the last 3 years, while I enjoy the company of people, I really do like being alone. And I wonder sometimes the wrestle in this. Y'all hear this question. This is gonna be good. I wonder sometimes, is there a wrestle within our Christianity because maybe we know that we want sex, not necessarily intimacy. I think there's sometimes where we want intimacy as well. But is there a wrestle, especially as a believer, when you know you want sex, but you're okay with being alone? And yeah, come on. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Absolutely. So what I'm here from, what I know about you and see how you flow, and you got 99 jobs and all kinds of other things. And then just the pandemic and all of that. What you're saying, what I'm hearing is that not that you want to be alone, but you're tired of being consumed.
This is good.
As a public figure, as the roles you play in your family. When we are pushing back, when we want our silence and our quiet time, mothers deal with this. Like, we're tired of being expected of, right? We're tired of having to produce. And with that good respect, when we're talking about casual sex and just wanting sex, that's because that can be transactional. You get what you need, and you go about your business, and there's no more expectations of me. But what fuels us, what feeds us, is the intimacy. And so in these, like you mentioned, the last 3 years we were in the pandemic, and physically, as our human body has a experience called skin hunger, where we yearn to be touched, right? And as we get older, when we're a baby, we get held, we get bathed, we get dressed. As we get older, slowly but surely, that free, unrequired response touch. I don't know if that English was right, but the touch with no expectation, that's the word, that gets further and further away. Then you mix in intergender connections, and now there's always this unspoken sexual expectation or sexual motivation. And so where we are, as with the wrestle that you mentioned, Duane, is because we don't know how to just be. We don't know how to exist. We don't know how to live in community. We were created in community. Let us make man in our image. We were created for community. Love your neighbor as yourself. But we don't know how to do that. We know how to do each other, but we don't know how to be brothers and sisters in Christ. And so because of that, every interaction feels like an audition, and we're tired of that rat race. And that is why we push back against people. That's why we have our whole faith. That's why we have friends with benefits. That's why we have sneaky links, because we don't want accountability, because accountability means you expect something from me, and I am tired. I'm wore out. I don't feel like it, but my biological need is coming up, so I can dump and pump and go on about my business, or pump and dump and going about my business.
That's good. Come on,
so that's what the wrestle is. We tired. We wore out.
That's good.
Oh, we can stay on this all night. I'm gonna just move on to the next question because I'm sitting here like I got a lot to say. So
No, go ahead. This your show. Say something.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
Okay. All right.
Well, you know what? You guys are actually we're flowing, and this is gonna go into the next question because the question next is what causes sexual addictions. I know we talked a little bit about trauma. So I feel like sexual addictions come when you've been through some type of trauma and you may be hiding behind it with sex. I know everyone has vices. So I know some people who don't drink and smoke, but they love sex.
This is a fact. This is a fact. There's some people who don't smoke, they don't cuss, they don't drink. They morally like really are morally right. Besides that issue, yeah.
So my question is, what causes sexual addictions? Anyone want to tackle that? I know Brittany's been talking a lot.
Yeah, no, Nina put her hand up, and then we got to go to Loren. I got to let the brothers get in on this. Some of this. Come on, Loren. Come on, Nina.
Okay, go ahead, Nina.
What causes it? I mean, I do agree that. Yeah.
Go ahead, Loren.
Yep. So I do agree that it is part of that is trauma. I mean, obviously something can happen to you, and sometimes it turns it off, and then sometimes it turns it up. So you kind of seen both, even in the public light.
Wow.
Say R. Kelly, who something happened to him, and then all of a sudden his sexual energy is turned up beyond what anybody would consider normal. But then I also think it's just because of what we're being fed. We're being fed there's always something better out there via social media, via just the media and all the other stuff in general. We always think it's something better. So it's like, I want to try this next thing. Oh, this was good, but let's try something else. And then eventually you just end up getting addicted to it. I've seen that happen. So I think that's also a thing too. It may not even necessarily be drama or trauma. It may just be people, like I said, kind of getting into this whole social media. It's always something better, ideal in their heads. So
almost like so it's almost like I'm trying it because
nobody's ever satisfied.
Yeah, and then I'm coming to you, but I want to make sure that I unpack that thought because that's really good. It's almost like I'm just trying it, or I'm just trying different things because it's just. Let me give an example. This is the best example. Watch this. You got a man sitting at a bar, tells a lady and says, "Hey, you look pretty." She said, "Okay, get to know you." He said, "Oh no, I'm not trying to holler at you. I'm married, but I'll just let you know you look pretty, right?" And then she says to him, "Okay, you from here?" "Yeah, I'm from here." Long story short, he says, "Yeah, I like to explore sex." And she goes, "Oh, okay, with your wife?" "Well, I like to explore sex with a man, but I'm not gay, but I'm married, right?" When you speak of what you speak of, that's what I hear. I hear like I'm trying something because it doesn't define me, but I'm trying it because it satisfies me. Is that making sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that I think it's more of people are just not satisfied, and they've been taught to not be satisfied because of things like social media. So it's okay, I had sex with this person today, but you know what? I want to try this different flavor over here. I want to try maybe it's Dominican girl. I want to try this.
Well, see, when you say different flavors, I think that can go multiple different ways depending upon who the person is, because we live in this eclectic world where a flavor to them can be even another. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
But it's still the same vein of not being satisfied. So they may not necessarily went through trauma, but they may just be wired to be, hey, I'm not satisfied with anything. And that permeates through everything, right? Your car's not good enough. Your house is not good enough. I need the latest and greatest of whatever.
I got you. Come on, Nina. I got you.
I do agree with him to a certain extent. I believe that a lot of people, when they have addictions, it's a lack of something. Like addiction, I feel like is just like another word saying I'm lacking something. And even when it comes to, since we talking about like sex addiction to like sex, I feel like a lot of people when they do it, a lot of it does come from like childhood, and it's shown in so many different ways, whether it was a lack of attention or a child or a person feel like they got the control taken away from them, kind of like R. Kelly, since he was like molested. I feel like he was so controlling over these women because he didn't have any control when he was a kid, when those situations happened to him. So when he got older, he just kept on seeking outward for that control, when at the end of the day, he never got that satisfaction. He never got, y'all know what I'm trying to say. He never
got satisfied.
Yeah,
There
he
you go.
never got that, because the answer is not outward. The answer is not in other women and trying to do the same thing to other people that happened to you. The answer is within you. Like when it comes to addiction or any type of trauma, you have to deal with the issues in the tissues. You got to go within yourself, bring those things up, address it, and deal with it, and fulfill the void yourself, because can't nobody else do that. So that's why, like, people that's addicted to video games, sex, porn, shopping, whatever it is, hoarders, all of that is due to, it's a reflection of how they feel about themselves. And whatever that is, a childhood trauma, a current situation, whatever it is, it's just them lashing out, and their bodies and their minds responding in a way, trying to get their attention, but they don't see it that way. That's how I feel about it.
Right. I have to speak on this just because I work specifically with veterans with addictions. So when we talk about addictions, we can't like neglect the brain. Okay, because addiction, that's kind of where everything starts. So we got all the neurotransmitters, dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin at high levels. So these things have thresholds, okay? But at high levels is when it becomes an addiction. So if you were introduced to sex at a very young age, before your adult thresholds were developed, you have surpassed that threshold, and now this has become, something that you really feel like you need it in your brain. So when it comes to sex, I always start off with, what was your relationship with sex? How were you introduced to sex? Because that story says a lot as to why the compulsive sexual behavior is there.
I'm so glad, dear, that you said that, like the compulsive sexual, because in the field of sexology or human sexuality, sex and even porn as an addiction is highly debated, because it doesn't really follow the same trajectory, like method of like processes as like substance abuse and that kind of thing, as far as the changing substance abuse, like, drugs and alcohol and all of that, and even food changing like the chemistry in your brain in the way that sex and porn does not. So it really falls short of the addiction threshold. However, DeAnne said it perfectly. The compulsive sexual behaviors, or even or sometimes obsessive thoughts. So it falls more in obsessive compulsion than it does addiction. And I think addiction, depression, crazy, those are all words that, lay people, we kind of use as like a catch-all for behaviors that basically what we're saying is this person has more sex or watches more porn than outside of what I have deemed, or what I thought that society deems as normal, right? It's more than what I can understand, or for reasons beyond what I can comprehend, or personally what I do. You have wives who say, my husband is a sex addict because they want it more often than, or because there's a desire incongruence. So I think it's important as believers, and because naming things matter, right? Bad terminology leads to bad theology, right? And so I think that I'm very grateful that you said that, because it's important for us to know that there is a line with which thoughts about sexual behavior is typical or normal. And then there's a point at which when it begins to interfere with your everyday functioning and, things like that. And then there are traumas that can have us leaning more towards sexual expression, masturbation, pornography, or whatever, because as DeAnne said, it was introduced to us as at a time where our frontal cortex was still forming, and now we developed those as coping mechanisms and things like that. So what we need, or what the people who have that experience need, is this corrective emotional experience where they can now replace something that better, that's healthier for them, with whatever they've been held on to before. And it's not all it's in many cases it is a reflection of how they see themselves, but honestly the lens through which they see the world is not what we see. And addiction, like sin, literally convinces us that consequences don't exist. So yeah.
Come on, Nique. You want to chime in there?
Yeah. I agree with everything you guys just mentioned, because I'm trying to make sure I have my thoughts together about this. There are so many people who deal with molestation. I went to the Woman Evolve back in, I believe back in May, when Sarah Roberts was here in Michigan, and it was over 20,000 women that were in there. I'm not sure, DeAnne, were you there? I'm not sure if you were there or not, or Nina. And about 4 or 5 women stood up, and they all had a story about molestation or incest and the sexual trauma. One lady was mentioning that she's afraid to have sex with her husband because she's still replaying certain things. And the whole room was shook, while each woman was speaking. And I'm like, there's so many people out here who are dealing with this issue when it comes to trauma. And so that's why I really wanted to lean in on what is the cause, or of sexual addictions. Not and like I like what Brittany was saying earlier about being careful about how we label certain things, because again, we need the education about beyond rape, molestation, incest. Where is the root cause, and how our generation can reverse some of this stuff, because we wanted to stop with us. We wanted to stop with us because we tired. Like Brittany said earlier, we're tired of having to be expected to be a certain way, because of what we've been through in our lives. And a lot of it has to deal with, again, the trauma. And so I'm so grateful for this conversation. I'm learning a lot tonight myself. And I want to also ask the people at large, why is it important for you to be in tune with your body? That's something that we are not doing. We're not taking the time out to get to know our bodies. But we know we want to feel good for a good time, maybe not a long time, but for a good time, right? But we need to know ourselves and taking the time. Give yourself grace. We are not giving ourselves grace. And this past year, I have been working on myself, dealing with me as an individual. And a lot of people don't know this, but I am 35 and I'm still a virgin. And let me tell y'all, it gets harder when you're older. Okay? It's harder when you're older. And I thank God that I've been through a lot of things, and I have reflected on my life and why I chose to stay this way. It's been hard. It's been rough. Okay? Just because I'm a virgin doesn't mean that my parts don't work, because they do. Okay? Period.
Listen, but that's important to say, because I think oftentimes, let me be controversial. Oftentimes, people who feel like they are virgins feel like they get an extra pass from heaven or something, or they feel like they get an extra stipend from God or extra paycheck when they get across the throne of the gates, and you don't get an extra check. You don't. Yeah, it's nice, right? You don't get an extra diamond on your crown. You don't get an extra mansion.
And society thinks it too, though. Society,
no, they do.
Promotes, it's like social promotion. Yeah. There's social capital in purity, but it's always performative purity.
Yes. You taking the words right out my mouth. Absolutely.
It's not the vertical between me and God.
Yes, Britt.
The horizontal show.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so I say all the time, God will honor a repentant fornicator over a haughty abstainer any day.
Yes.
Because
yes.
It's a heart issue. It's a heart issue. You are a virgin, and you are, and no, this is not your case because sis, you fine. But there's some virgins that you could melt them and pour on people, and they walking around, all proud and haughty and thinking they're better than people, but they're also mean spirited. They're also selfish. They're
Britt,
also
talking my language. You just took the words out of my mouth. You know
what I'm saying? All of those things. And that is not to say that God does not honor Nique's obedience, right? That's not to say that God does not honor those who have held themselves for Him, not for their spouse, because we don't wait. We're not holding ourselves for our partner. God absolutely honest. Right.
Yeah.
God absolutely honors that. However, we cannot use that as to make as clout as a
exactly
as
exactly. Yeah. No, she took the words out of my mouth, and I was gonna say that, man. Like, listen. You're honoring God. This ain't for you to use as a clout moment. Like, I'm better than her because she went at 15, and I'm not going until I'm 35. So what? Who cares? Choke on a chicken bone. I don't care. Like, no, seriously. And I say that jovially, but I mean it because I think oftentimes, in certain environments, I've seen people do this kind of stuff, right? I've seen people just straight up like, oh, I'm just better. No, you're not. No. Like, you should be honoring God. And so I'm glad that you made that point, Nique, about you being a virgin at 35, and that it is just as hard because you're a human being. It's not an easy trait because you just, you walking around on cloud nine like, yeah, I'm just, I got a key in the lock. Amen. So I think that's important. And it leads us into this next question because you said something so powerful about molestation and rape and all of that. And let us be the first to say this to anyone that is watching tonight that have fit in the category where you were touched inappropriately when you could not make a decision maturely for yourself. If you was touched inappropriately and you could make a decision for yourself, you were touched by family, friend, foe, or enemy. We know that we are not them, and we know that we did not cause it. But let us offer our condolences and our deepest empathy to you as you work through these moments. But it leads us into this question, and I think it's a really big question. Why does the act of sex hurt some people? Why does the act of sex hurt some people? I think that's a really great question. Who wants to lead us off in that conversation? Why does the act of sex? I'm gonna come to my brother first. I'm gonna stick with my guys tonight because we're short in number. But let's start with you first. Like, why does the act of sex hurt some people?
Some people, I think, because people are looking for love, like everybody ultimately is, and so some people don't know what real love looks like, and sex is a good imitation of that. So that's one of the main reasons I've seen. I know it's really simple, but I'm honestly saying it. Like, that's one of the reasons why. It's just everybody's searching for love, and like I said, the sex can give you that temporary feeling as if you do have love in that moment, and people keep searching and trying to chase that high rather than knowing what real love is. So
I like that. Anybody else want to add to it? Nique, you want to add to it? Because you was already in there early. I know it's your show, but you can chat a little bit. Come on. You good?
I'm enjoying you guys. I just was thinking about selfishness. People who are selfish.
That's a good point.
They're thinking about themselves in the moment. And so if you don't get yours, I'm going to get mine. That's how it works.
Just not if you're going to get yours. Selfishness in the form of, I'm going to take it even if I'm not allotted it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because honestly, molestation to me is a form of selfishness. It's saying I'm willing to please myself at the cost of this individual, whether in any form that individual is, whether it be child, adolescent, adult. I'm going to take it. Although they're not offering it, I'm going to take it. That's a form of selfishness, because I would rather please myself for the sake of, pleasing myself than, having the appropriate tools to maneuver in. Come on.
Yeah, this selfishness is pride and power. Like rape is never an assault and all of that. It's never about sex or desire. It's a power thing. It's a power and pride as well. And I think to what if I could add to what Nique said, we got to this place of harm as it relates to sex, even outside of the assault or molestation, because sex, that which was supposed to be relational has become transactional. And so we are not seeing the heart of the people involved. It's just bodies just doing things, and the spirits and the hearts and feelings of those people are just coming along for the ride. And so the body is pleased, but the heart is hurt, because the heart wasn't ever considered in the decision to join into this space. And many of us, even married, now watch this, even married, many of us are having sex that we don't want to have. We're having sex that don't serve us.
How is that, Britt? Talk to me. I love what you're saying. I just got to be the host. I know what you're saying, but talk to me. How is that?
The way you know me, so you know everything I do for Black women, and I love my Black men. I love y'all, but
no, you don't really love us. No, you don't.
I do love you, but and this is not y'all, because here's the thing: stereotypes, double standards, and all of those things harm y'all as much as it harms us. It handicaps y'all and it prevents y'all from growth. And like when we perpetuate this narrative that men need sex, then we pigeonhole y'all to these barbaric sexual deviants. They are never satisfied, and are so simple that if you are horny, and if you are not horny and not hungry, then that's all you need. But men are much more complex than that. And then when we reduce women to receptacles that are just for them to serve our partners, and we take that First Corinthians scripture of your body's not your own and all that, and pervert it, and then that harms us as well. And so when I say people are in their marriage having sex they don't want to have, is because women aren't speaking up about the fact that I don't like your tongue in my ear. Get your tongue out of my ear. I don't like that.
Hold on. I don't mean to laugh. You saying like they like, yo, I don't like that. I don't like that. Don't do that.
I don't like that, but I'm not gonna tell you nothing, because I'm gonna do my good wifely duty. I'm gonna lay here, I'm gonna hoop and holler, and you are sick. You couldn't find the clitoris with a magnifying glass, and I'm still hollering and screaming and giving you this false affirmation that I like what you're doing, and then I roll over and cry myself to sleep, or in some instances masturbate myself to sleep, because I'm not pleased. But I don't want to hurt your feelings, because I was taught that you are so fragile that I can't speak any ill against you in any way, shape, or form. And then men are taught, let me just hump, and then because if I am well endowed, that's all it takes. And I don't have to have any finesse. I don't have to have any patience. I don't have to know my wife's body. I don't have to ask her questions like, how do you like to feel before sex? Right? Sorry. Go ahead.
No, this is so good. This is good. It's good, Britt.
What I would tell my younger self, I would say as a teenager, don't skip sex ed. So if you have children, I know that people have their religious preferences and why they don't do certain things, but I'm gonna tell you, your children need to be in sex ed, okay? Because there's a lot going on out here. I plan on having a OBGYN on my platform during our conference to help, and my friend who is a medical assistant at the U of M hospital in Ann Arbor, who's going to be talking about some of the cases that they get from college students, because a lot of the times the parents are not talking to their children about sex before they leave and go to college. Okay, you can avoid a whole lot of stuff, parents, if you educate your children or allow them to take classes about certain things to prevent certain diseases from coming their way. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to be intimate, you need to also learn how to have safe conversations so that when it's time to get down in the bedroom, married folks, you're not being talked about in the group chat.
You know, that's a safe segment. Hold on, stay right there, Nique. So tell us, 2023. Tell us, just tell us where what city this conference is going to be in, what they can expect. I know you don't have all the pieces together yet, but this is a great segment to just plug that because we're actually headed to about the last 15 minutes of our session tonight, and y'all could tell I'm a timekeeper here,
Yes.
because I do not like I don't like wasting people time, right? And this is a great conversation, and Rome wasn't built in a day, so if they want us to come back, we can give them a part two.
Yes.
We can have more conversation, but talk to us really quickly about what should we look forward to, the name of the conference, 2023, what city it's in. Like, come on, talk to us real quick.
All right, so the name of the conference is Chemistry versus Intimacy. It's going to be here in Detroit, Michigan on Saturday, March 25th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's going to be at the Hunt Street Station, again, here in Detroit. And of course, we're going to have a few people flying out. This is my first time flying people out, y'all. Okay, I normally just deal with the people or speakers here in Michigan, but God has laid it on my heart to pull people who are doing amazing things in their cities. And I'm so grateful that Brittany is going to be a part of the panel. And she's also going to be doing a workshop, Save, and I think it's sexual, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have another Christian sex coach. Her name is Heather Tucker. She is the bomb.com. She's going to be dealing with some things with our married couples. And she is, like I said, unorthodox. She does a lot of dancing. So I hope that our couples are ready to receive her because she's going to be using some of our couples as examples to help them get their groove back in the bedroom. Okay, so that is closed out just for our couples, those who are married. Okay, she deal with married couples only. All right, so we also have, of course, our lovely panel. Nina's going to be on there. We have DeAnne, we have Loren, we still talking to him about being my co-host. We still hashing it out. So one thing about me, y'all, I am keep it real. All right. So I'm pulling on Loren to be my co-host because I believe that he will be a great person to help lead during our conference. And I know that Nina is going to be amazing talking about trauma and healing. So you definitely want to tune in and come out to our in-person conference. We're expecting to have about over 150 to 200 people. And again, I'm just grateful for us to be here tonight just to share a little bit of what you're going to receive. And we have Belize Spivey. She is a STD coach. She's not on here tonight. She had another obligation. And we also have Leon Walker Jr. He is also a relationship coach. He is a recovering narcissist. Listen, ladies who's dealing with men's who got this narcissistic behavior on them. He is here to help you navigate how to get away from those type of men and women as well. Men who might be in a situation where they're dealing with a woman who may have narcissistic tendencies, because there are some women who do. All right. He's here to help you also navigate. So this is not just about women. We are here to help our men as well. So I'm excited to have all these dynamic people that are going to be here to bless us, to help us understand the difference between chemistry and intimacy beyond the bedroom. So again, it's going to be on March the 25th, 2023. Our website is almost done. I got a text like an hour ago. She almost have it ready so that it'll be live. So make sure you guys follow me. If you're not following me here on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, my name is Nique Speaks. You can just type in Nique Speaks and I should come up on all social media platforms. So without further ado, I want to get into the last question, or the last question. What is the difference? And I know Brittany got to go. What is the difference between intimacy and sex? And then the last part of that question, why do we use these two words interchangeably?
Go ahead, Britt. You go first.
Okay, so sex is an act and intimacy is an experience. And we use them interchangeably because of fear and shame. We don't like to call things things. And even with the best of intentions and our pursuit of holiness, if we step to the left of the thing, then it keep us out of harm's way or out of trouble. And so we began to use intimacy as a euphemism for sex, because saying sex somehow, again, we've been taught that it was dirty. We've been taught that, good for women, good girls don't say that. Don't wake love before it's time. Don't cause your brother to stumble. All of those things. We've conflated the difference between secret and private, and just all manner of things is why we don't like to call things things. And while sex should be intimate, it is not the sum total thereof. And so if you conflate the two, then you are reducing your sexual experience as well as your intimate experience, because intimacy encompasses your whole life. It's not just sexual. It's not just romantic. There's intimacy, spiritual intimacy. There's emotional intimacy. There's physical intimacy. If I'm a stamp collector, can I tell you about my stamp collecting? Can I dress up in my costume to go to Comic-Con without you feeling like you're going to judge me, right? When you say, how can I pray for you? Am I going to just give you the life, health, and strength? Or I'm going to tell you, listen, my son said something to me the other day that took the wind out of me, and I need you to don't pray for me, pray for him, right? Can I really tell you that, right? Am I at a church that is popular, or do I know that my leaders, whether it's the executive pastor or not, because pastors be busy, if it's the leadership, can I go to them and tell them what's really going on? Can I trust them, or am I just there just because? Do I talk to my friends about my life? Do I have anybody I can dream with? That's what intimacy is, right? Sex is sex is dope. Don't get me wrong. Listen, orgasms, God loves us. If you never thought an orgasm is proof that God loves us, but it is such a small part of our life. You know what I mean? Like, it is literally a minute part of our life. And so it really is a disservice to yourself and the quality of life and the exceedingly abundantly that God has for you when you reduce intimacy to just sex.
That is so good. Because I've heard that sex is only 10% of, I guess, your marriage. If you are in a marriage or a relationship,
Yep.
It's only 10%. So that means there are people out here who are in these relationships or situationships. Y'all missing out a whole lot on intimacy. Like, you can't, like Lewis said this 2 years ago. That's Vanessa's husband. He said 2 years ago at a conference that we did, you cannot build a relationship in the bedroom. You have to learn how to build a relationship outside of the bedroom. And that is so true, because if you only have a relationship in the bedroom, you have nothing. It just your relationship is built off of sex. And some people, their first connection is when they have sex. Most people, I guess they make, what's the term I want to say? They use sex as their way of, okay, well, we together now? Or that's how they tie, okay, we're going to be together now because we just had sex. Some people do that. And it's like, that's not real. All you had was a sexual connection. You didn't have an actual organic relationship. It's not an organic relationship. It was built off of sex. It was just an experience. It wasn't real chemistry, unless it was just a sexual chemistry. Mm-hmm. It wasn't built on anything that's solid. It's like, okay, let me test drive this. A lot of people say this too, like, well, you need to test drive to see if you don't like it. Because I know someone who got married. And her husband gave her an STD and she was a virgin. So that's a whole nother conversation. That means that they're having a conversation about going to get tested before they got together. I think that's very important to go get tested. Talk to your partner about those things before you get married. It's so much we're gonna be covering at this conference. I can't go into everything, but that's just my take on that. Did anyone else want to add to what Brittany said? Everybody?
I mean, I guess just yeah, I mean, as far as intimacy and how that goes, I think many times people may also confuse the two because sometimes people expect intimacy to lead to sex. It's like they think this is the avenue to it, and it does not have to be that way. Like, are you being intimate because you want to have sex? Like, are we just exchanging things, or are we really like having this experience together? So that's another thing. I think we have to just, the intent of the intimacy is also important.
That's exactly why we need to have conversations before we lay down with people to see where their headspace is at.
No,
Like, you have
definitely.
to give yourself grace to get to know people. Going back to what Nina said, why aren't we doing that? Why are we just so ready to hump? Like, I'm confused. Like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we wasting precious time with counterfeit people? Like, why are we doing this? What's the point? Like, I'm telling y'all, counterfeit people in this season we walking into are not okay. It's not okay. Hold on one second. Let me bring my brother back on real quick. You see if he's ready. You ready, Doc?
I'm ready. I had to take care of the Lord's mission.
I'm like, we're talking about the difference between intimacy and sex, and why are the words used interchangeably. And so I was just saying we need to take the time out to get to know people and stop looking to hump, because we're wasting our precious time dealing with people who are counterfeits, and we're giving them too much of our time because we're too lazy to get to know people, because we live in a hot pocket generation or a
Yeah,
hot and ready generation.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I'm convicting some people, but hey, it is what it is. If you don't want your time wasted, give yourself some grace and get to know where people's headspace is. All right.
Yeah.
So that's just my take on that. You want to add to that,
No,
Duane?
Britt, do you want to add before you go? I know you got to go.
No, I
Yeah.
was just going to say that when he said like, and it's only the instant gratification that we live in this time, it's only going to get worse, right? And so we went from the oven to the crock pot to the microwave, and now we're in the Instapot, and like it's only and we went from
The air
there's an app,
fryer.
And the air fryer. That's what I was
right,
Yeah,
the
gonna
air
say. The
fryer,
air
right.
fryer.
So we went from there's an app for that to there's a hack for that, right? And we are out here hacking intimacy. And when DeAnne said, like, what is the purpose of intimacy? What are you trying to get at? And I wouldn't even offer to that if you are being intimate with me for the sake of getting something, then that's not true intimacy. True intimacy is because I want to see you, being seen, being heard, being valued, being understood. And the only reciprocity that I want from that is to also be seen, heard, valued, and understood. Now, sometimes that happens through the avenue of sex, but if we're doing this like quid pro quo bargaining or bartering of time for penetration, that is not, nobody's being served in that. Nobody, especially when it's sex, again, sex that you don't want to have, because Lord knows, especially for singles, don't nothing ruin an orgasm worse than having to repent.
Mighty Christ. Mighty. Y'all don't steal that either. That's my word. I just want y'all to know that. That's on hats and stuff. Listen, first of all, in the comments, if you're watching tonight, because we get ready to get out of here, if you're watching tonight, could y'all just go ahead and just throw up some love for each and every panelist, because these guys are amazing. These guys are doing some great work, and my sis over here next to me is doing some amazing work. Y'all make sure, if y'all are in Michigan or if you can get to Detroit, let me be clear of what city, that you get there, because I believe that you're going to be blessed by what she has to say. And what the panel and everyone has to say, and y'all give it up, because this is also like the first night that me and Brittany agreed in like 2 years of
Ever.
this is like the first time we agreed in like 2 years. You understand? But with respect, I will say this, that Brittany is an amazing thought leader in that field. She brings some smoke, and I've learned how to give credit in spite of, right? And I think that's one place that we all have to grow, is that we could disagree with people, but recognize that there is talents and abilities there that can help people become better. And so tonight, if we could throw some love and some hearts on Facebook, on YouTube, let's throw it up. Let's send up some hearts for every person that was a part of the panel. Come on, I'm clapping it up for the panel tonight. You guys are amazing. And here's the crazy part. At question 1, we could have stayed there probably for about an hour alone. Because everybody has so much to offer there. So this is just to show you what you're going to be signing up for. Thank y'all for the love. Come on, if y'all giving us some love, thank y'all. This was definitely a topic that needed to be discussed and more. I saw some of my other family on here. I saw my big sister Shania on here saying that's a great conversation. And she's saying it's a great conversation because she don't like a lot of stuff. But no, thank y'all for showing us some love tonight. Because this is where we are. I oftentimes say this, that conversation is what is going to get us to a place of at least acknowledging and opening ourselves up for revelation. And I believe that everyone that is watching tonight, everyone that's in the panel tonight, you're here for a reason. Whether you are someplace in this conversation, if you're not, you're learning from somebody else. We so greatly appreciate you. Nick, you want to say anything, or you want to let's do some closing remarks? How does that sound?
Yes, I wanted to ask everybody to just tell the people why they believe people should attend the conference.
Oh, that'd be good. Let's start from the bottom to the top. D, let's go. We'll start with you first.
Yes, I believe everyone should come to the conference because, as you can see, we have so many different perspectives on each topic, yet we all seem to be making tons of sense, which means that we are all experts in what we are discussing. And that is something that doesn't appear to be common in what's going on right now. With everybody's podcasts and such. So if you want to hear like some real, down to earth people, like Nique said at the beginning, who are walking the walk, definitely come out. I think you'll enjoy it. I'm excited for it.
Let's go. Nina, tell me, have you seen her?
I would say everybody should definitely come because God has given all of us a story, and it's all about like once we're ready to deliver that story or share that story, that's what makes us truly powerful. So everybody here today got a story, and they was led by their story, and they exactly where they need to be today, so they can hopefully touch someone out there. So by all of us being super different, but then again, so much alike and similar. It's just a reflection of the audience that we're going to be preaching to or just communicating to. So I really hope everyone come and enjoy the show.
Wow. Come on, Loren.
Everybody has to attend this because one, Nique just has a panel of all these different people with different perspectives and a wealth of knowledge from all different types of areas. So you're not just getting one perspective or one particular area, you're getting all of it in one. So it's definitely gonna be worth it. So definitely come out, definitely get all the knowledge that you can. Don't be destroyed for your lack of knowledge. So come out and get all the knowledge from us.
I should have probably asked you guys to give your closing remarks too, when you were saying why you should come to the conference. So I'll pause for 1 second. Vanessa, stay right there, don't move. Do you got any closing remarks? I'm not gonna force you to give any if you don't have any.
Closing remarks. I enjoyed all of this. I'm so excited for this conference because I can only imagine, it being even greater than what this was. Also, everybody out there, follow me on IG at Naturally D3. I
There you
post
go.
every Monday, Mental Health Mondays, just to give you a little jump start for your week. Please follow me at Naturally D3 on IG. Thank you.
Nina, tell me, have you seen the closing remarks?
Um, Thank you, everybody. Today was great. I learned a lot myself. It's always nice to always remain open-minded to hear other people's perspective, and always to be be willing to be a student. So even though I'm a part of something, I'm still constantly learning. I'm always willing to learn. So for those out there, even if you feel like you know it all, just always push that thought to the side and realize it's always something new to bring to the table, or a new perspective to learn in order to enhance your life. So I really hope people got that today from what we just did.
I love it. Loren, last remarks.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed tonight. Definitely learned a lot from you guys. Just remember, people, just to stay open minded with new information. Just take it in, process it, and use it for your benefit. Definitely remember to follow Nique Speaks on Instagram and all the other social media apps. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Date Night App. That's DATENITE app. And yeah, thank you once again.
What kind of app is that? Date night app?
Yes.
What is it about?
So it's an app that allows you to find all the different restaurants, nightlife, and attractions
Wow.
in the city. And so
Wow.
we're in 6 major cities right now. So
Wow.
yeah,
Congrats,
know
man.
what to do? Download it. It's free.
I love it. Vanessa, go ahead and tell everybody why they should come to the conference and give your closing remarks.
So I started out, I'm one of the originals with Nique Speaks, and with all of the content that will be provided, I believe that if you can get to this conference, you should get to it, because there's going to be so many areas and topics that I think that if you are serious about a relationship, married, boyfriend, girlfriend relationship, husband, wife, that the content that will be delivered at this conference is going to take you to the next level in which you need to be in your relationships. And I am excited about what's happening. Just being a part of the panel tonight, everything was great. A lot of interesting perspectives that took place, and so everything was great. This was good.
I love it. Any closing remarks?
Oh, that was my closing remarks.
Okay.
I
Okay.
enjoyed it.
I love it. All right.
Yes, it was good.
Britt.
Yes, this was awesome. I'm so excited. I was excited from our first meeting, but now after this, I'm like even more hype about what's going on. And I believe, Nick, I believe God is going to show up supernaturally for you because of your obedience in this area. And anything that is concerning you by way of finance or any of that, I believe that that's not going to be. I believe that that's not going to be an issue, because your heart is pure for people to be healed in areas you've not even experienced yet. And so that's a true servant. That's a true servant right there. You get ready to improve people's sex life and gonna go home to your a lonely bed, and that's a pure heart. That's a pure heart right there. So I would say that people should come to. I'm gonna speak specifically to the people that I'm coming to the conference to speak to. If you said I prayed, but I'm still horny, what do I do now? If you said I'm in a relationship, how do I be intimate without sinning? If you said premarital abstinence was one thing, but this postmarital abstinence is a beast of another color. Okay. And if you said I've been working for Jesus a long time and I'm growing quite tired, and you seasoned and single, you need to come to this conference, because the conversation that I'm going to have we're going to answer all of those questions. If you understand that you are tired of just taking what's been given to you and wanting to know what the Lord has for you by way of sex, intimacy, relationship, companionship, your existence as a man, as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
There is no better place for you to be on March 25th than this conference.
2023, no place.
2023. Yeah, now go and get your coins. Get your coins together. You done paid, you done bought all those Christmas gifts, all of those. We see all those Amazon boxes sitting outside your house. Invest, you done bought them bundles. Okay, them Yeezys. Or do we buy Yeezys now? Them ones, because if you like me, you got a couple boxes of ones and dunks. Save one of them. Them taxis that come out tomorrow. Save that money for this conference.
I'm just gonna close with this. I'm appreciative tonight to be here. Y'all don't need me to tell you why you should come. If I'm here, it should tell you what I think. And you had at least 5 other people tell you, and I'm gonna second everything that they said. I'm gonna third everything that they said. I'm gonna smack the gavel on everything that they said because what they have said has been extremely important. Yes, sis? You jumping in? Okay. And so if you can make it, go. If you could be there, go. I think it's going to be very vital for your life. I'm Duane Williams Jr. I don't know. I'm a pastor. I don't know how I got there. I am a thought leader. Most importantly, I am just a person who loves to serve. And so I'm appreciative to serve. You can find me on all social media outlets at Duane Williams Jr. Duane, no W, okay? Drop the W, throw it in the trash, pick up a U. All right, Duane Williams Jr. And I'm grateful. If you're watching this tonight, I got a project I'm working on. And I work on it for the last 7+ years of my life that I've been living, where we cater to some families for Christmas. And you can go to my social media page and see it if you don't believe me. But we've been serving families for the last 7 years. And, I need your financial help. So today, if you can consider helping us out, go to my social media. You'll see all the information there. We want to be a blessing to about 5 families this year. For the season of Christmas. And this is not just, buying a whole bunch of toys, but this is something that's tailor-made for the families that we serve. So thank you so much. I appreciate hanging out with you guys tonight. Appreciate being the host. I love being host. I don't really like talking my thoughts. I like being host. So thank you for having me.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much again for coming on. We are going to be doing a preview of each of our speakers that will be at the conference. So you guys stay tuned. Of course, make sure you're following me here, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. I'm trying to get back on TikTok. It is Nique Speaks on all social media platforms. And of course, follow us on Instagram at the Relationship Conference, because there will be some content being dropped just for you right there on the Relationship Conference page on Instagram. Again, guys, thank you all for being on tonight, dropping some major gems. Duane, you're a busy man. I appreciate you saying yes to the call and being my co-host. It's always a pleasure working with you. You all have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you all in my next video. Happy holidays, everybody.